Hey, can you guys hear me? Are you guys able to hear me? Tasha, can you hear me? Okay, am I pretty clear? All right, I'm gonna mute myself for a minute. Hey, if you guys can hear me, can you type something in the chat? Just want to make sure the chat is working for everybody. Make sure you guys can hear me. Hey, we'll probably get started at about 5 after, just to try to give everybody time to get in. Hey, just a few more minutes. It's 12:01 on the clock on the computer, so we'll wait till 12:05 and get started. Hey, I was muted until get started. So we'll go ahead and get started. First, can all you guys hear me? Can everyone hear me? I was muted, giving everyone till maybe five after or so to get in, make sure everybody was able to join. So can somebody let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me? All right. So we'll go ahead and get started. So my name is Jacques Anderson. Most people just call me Jay because they struggle with my first name. But I'm the new president of Lexington Hills. First, still want to give a big thank you to the last administration, Melvin, Lala, Kenneth, Michelle, and any board members of the past, because when I moved in 17 to what our neighborhood is now, it's improved a lot. And a lot of that is because of what the previous board was able to do and accomplish for the neighborhood. And so we're trying to kind of take the baton and run from there, not kind of reset things, kind of just trying to take the baton and move forward from there. A couple things made me decide to run. First, I was worried about what would happen if we didn't have anyone run for president. I think before we've had a third party company manage the HOA. As we'll get into, we run a really tight budget. Those companies have to be paid usually 1,000 or more a month, and just didn't think we can afford that. And I felt like all the progress that we've made over the last 4, 5, 6 years with Melvin and the team could go away pretty quickly without some leadership in place. I kind of looked at it like credit, if you will. It takes a long time to build your credit up, but a few bad months and it can be in the dumps. And I kind of felt that's the situation we could be in, if not saying someone other than I couldn't have ran the HOA, but I think my worry was that no one would want to. At the end of the day, it's a volunteer job, and it comes with, a lot of tasks, if you will. So once I became president, I kind of started trying to think about what are our top concerns. I'm obviously a homeowner in the neighborhood. Most of you guys are, and I felt like if I were to list two of our top concerns, if I was to poll everyone, I felt like one of the first ones would be, I don't want my HOA fees going up, and I felt like the second one would be, hey, I just want more info, more transparency on how our money is being used. So that's not to say that just because you ask how your money is being used, because this is your money, we're all homeowners here, that doesn't mean that you're alleging that something, inappropriate is happening. So in our first meeting, I kind of wanted to start there because I know everybody learns different, and Melvin did a great job emailing out the numbers and things like that. But I felt like explaining them a little bit could add some context. So I wanted to kind of start um, talking about our budget and where we're at. So, going to get some numbers out. You're more than welcome to pull out your calculator on your phone if you want to follow along with me. But right now, we have roughly 210-ish houses in Lexington Hills. I think the number is a few higher, but roughly 210. If you just do some quick math and you multiply 210 by $165, because that's what we each pay in HOA fees a year, you get a total that's 34,650. So just to make things simple, I'm going to round 35,000. So that is what we'll collect in just base HOA fees if we were to collect at 100%. And looking at our history, we do pretty good, but we haven't been able to collect at 100%. So any given year, we're kind of starting with a baseline revenue, if you will, of about $35,000. I'm just going to go through a few of our expenses at a high level. So if you're using your calculator, you can put 35,000 in there, and then you can just start subtracting the information I'm about to give you. You can look at the yearly recap Melvin gave. It lists all these things out. First is our mortgage. Our monthly mortgage is $1,926 a month. If you multiply that by 12, you get $23,112. So 23K of our money is gone just paying our mortgage. Our insurance. Our insurance is $3,100. We have to have a good amount of insurance, especially once we added the pool, because there's obviously some liability there. That's $3,100 a year. Power bill, about $1,200 a year. That's probably going to go up because we're on balance billing, but we're having to run the pump. Water bill is about $720 a year. And lastly, I'm just going to use internet. Internet is about $828 a year. You add those expenses up, they come up to $28,960. Again, I'm going to round, comes up to about 29,000. 35 minus 29 leaves us with about $6,000. And keep in mind, these are just base expenses. These don't cover landscaping. We have to have the grass cut and maintained in common areas, weed control, supplies, pool maintenance. I know we have a few neighbors in the neighborhood with above ground pools. If you do, you know that the cost of pool chemicals have skyrocketed during the pandemic. Year and a half ago, we have an above ground pool. Year and a half ago, we can get a gallon of liquid chlorine for about $1.75. Now it is almost $5 per gallon. Cheapest I can find, a 4-pack is about $25 at Home Depot. So that has almost tripled in price. And almost all pool chemicals, not only are they more expensive, they're harder to find. So these are just some base expenses, not including anything else. So I think we all can see that when we take these things into consideration, Lexington Hills is on a tight budget. We are on a tight budget right now. And so I know we've had questions in the past on the Facebook page, want some more transparency with our money. So that's what I'm giving. We are on a tight budget. To me, we're not broke. We're bills paid broke. So bills paid broke is I pay my bills. I got gas in the car. I got food. I got a little bit money left over, but I'm looking forward to next payday. That's what we are as Lexington Hills right now. Couple of things I've began to understand more since I've taken over and worked with Melvin. And again, a shout out to Melvin. Melvin has been absolutely awesome helping get us up to speed. But when we initially built the pool, we had some overages. I think everybody that was living here then knows that it took longer. When we went to dig down for the pool, we had some tree roots and things like that. That was a major expense that we had. So where we're at now is we're running really tight on the budget. And for the last couple of years, what's happened is we enter the fourth quarter of the year, our money's getting low, just simple as that. And I remember not 2021, but especially in 2020, I'm sure you guys remember Melvin and the board asking if you could to pay your HOA fees earlier, because we're trying to make sure we can pay bills and not become insolvent before the end of the year. The money needed this year was less than the previous year. So we're making headway and getting where we need to be. My hope is that fall of 2022, we need little to no of next year's money. But we got to get there. The pool. I've been here since mid 2017. Lots of you guys have. Everybody that was here, we know the pool wasn't a decision that was made by the board. It was put up for a vote. And many of us voted yes. I'm sure some of us voted no. Some of us probably didn't vote at all. But all in all, that pool was approved by the neighborhood. I'm not naive. I don't think there's a single project we could suggest that every single neighbor would be on board with. But my personal opinion is the pool was a good thing. I think we had started to be able to collect on HOA funds, and I think people wanted to see something substantial as far as where their monies were going. So we did the pool. I see concerns. It is not going away. We're not spending a lot of money to undo it. The pool is here to stay. We obviously have some land in the neighborhood that hopefully down the road we can do something with. But I think the pool was a pretty good project, but we are still recovering from the expense of getting that pool built and just some overages. So that's just a little bit about kind of where we're at from a budgetary standpoint. Next, I want to talk about our additional opportunities to increase revenue, because that's where we're at right now. We need to try to increase revenue as much as we can. First and easiest way is just when homes are built or sold. Anytime a home in Lexington Hills is built and or sold, the HOA can collect an initiation fee. It's $200 per transaction. So every time they build a new house on Legion, I'm sure you guys know they're going to finish paving that street between Antietam and Magazine Lane. I think the name of it is Parapet. Every time they throw one of those houses up, we're going to benefit because not only are we going to get that initiation fee, that's going to be another house each year paying HOA dues. Now, Greyhawk has hurt us a little bit because the city came in and told Greyhawk, hey, you have too much in the neighborhood you haven't completed. I think they have some obligations on some sidewalks. I'm sure you guys see if you're coming down Antietam from Bunker Hill Road, you see that they added sidewalks in there. And I think the city has really halted their construction until they meet some of those obligations. That hurts us a little bit because they were building homes on Legion at a rapid pace. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure most of those lots on Legion are already spoken for and sold. So as they get those homes built, that's going to help our budget because we're going to get initiation fees each time. Um, Obviously, once they pave Parapet, that's going to help because that's going to be a lot more homes on both sides that's going to not only pay an initiation fee the first time, but those homes also are due the HOA fee. So that's one of the biggest ways we can get past that $35,000 base revenue. But I drive down Legion sometimes. I'm sure you guys can see they built a good handful of homes pretty quickly, and then they stopped. And I think that's because the city stepped in. Obviously, we have a lot of military owners in the neighborhood. That helps because oftentimes those homes come up for sale because maybe someone PCSs, they don't want to deal with renting their home. Our values are increasing, so we're seeing a good amount of sales in today's environment. So every time a home sells, we get that initiation fee. So that's the first way we can really get more revenue to help us get to where we need to be. Um, One thing that's kind of obvious is rent out the pool house or the clubhouse. That that's not a lot, but those rentals, any little bit helps. So those get us revenue as well. Wanted to present an idea. We haven't made a decision as a board, and we may not. This may be something that I feel is best to be voted on by the community. I know when the pool opened, lots of us got upset because at first we were renting out the building and the pool. So, Jane Doe could get her kids ready and you guys would walk to the pool and you can't get in because there's a party and the pool is off limits as far as being used during the party. So that obviously was a problem. I think we were new and that rental fee was way too low if you wanted to rent that the pool and the clubhouse. And B, I thought we should have had some more restrictions in place so neighbors would know well ahead of time if the pool isn't available. So one thing, and you guys can put your feedback in the chat. I definitely want to know what you guys think. One thing we've thought about is maybe setting aside 3-4 days a month, not the entire day, but we would rent the pool and the pool house out in a 4-hour block. You would have to rent both out at the same time. If we do so, we'll put a little calendar up or we'll come up with some mechanism where everyone can see when that, maybe it's a Thursday and it's reserved from 4 to 8. But what I've thought about is if you want to rent the pool and the pool house, $500. I think that's a little pricey, but I don't think it's too pricey to be able to have your own private party using the pool and the pool house. And also, I think that's an even trade for us as a neighborhood. Well, yeah, pool wasn't available Friday from 4 to 8, but we made $500 to help us from a revenue standpoint. So again, we haven't made a decision on there, but I'm definitely interested in everyone's feedback on that idea. I think it's a good idea. To me, it's a win-win. Some will think the fee is not it's too expensive. If they do, that's great. That means the pool is always available for us to use. And if we get 3-4 rentals out of it a year, 4 rentals would be $2,000 for mild inconvenience. You're talking about 4 days, 4 hours each time, and that can give us some revenue. So just an idea to get our revenue up because we really need to get to a place where we're not having to use the next year's funds in the current year. We've done it a little bit, but we're going to set it up officially where you can rent the tables and chairs that we have. I think we have about 50 chairs and I think 9, 10 tables. So we'll set it up where we can invoice you and rent them. We'll make sure that they're not rented out on a day that the building is booked. But we're looking for, Tasha, Amanda, and I have looked for any way we can increase revenue that doesn't cause you too much inconvenience. So again, with the pool idea, we're not going to have the pool rented out 15 days a month, and every time you want to swim on a Saturday, um you can't swim. Um and I'm seeing some feedback. I think it's pricey for 4 hours too. And I think it has to be, because if it's too cheap, everybody's going to do it and the pool won't be available. So there's a sweet spot somewhere in there. Um, that we have to figure out. But I'm open to suggestions. First number we came up with was $500. It'll be a 4 hour rental of both the clubhouse and the pool. I think if we do something like 250, it's just too cheap. It'll be running out too often. And we're renting the building out, I want to say, for 150. But again, no final decisions on that. But we are definitely brainstorming for ways to increase revenue as much as we can. So I can see the chat. Don't mind feedback. You get, if you feel like it's too expensive, if you feel like it's just right, however you feel, let us know, because it's definitely it's an idea that can really get our revenue up. Maybe we do $3.99 or something. So, but if we do it, we're going to do so in a way where it's minimal impact to you as a resident of Lexington Hills, as far as being able to use the pool. Next revenue is this one's kind of obvious, but just unpaid HOA dues. Again, I know we're in tough times, still in a pandemic. If you have not been able to pay your HOA dues for this year or even prior years, and you have not gotten in contact with the HOA board, please do so. Don't let us know here. That is private, but you can send us an email to Lexington HOA president at gmail.com, and we'll work with you and figure something out, because those HOA fees honestly are just the lifeline of our neighborhood, and we have to have them to be able to operate and to make sure we don't become insolvent. Um, I see Sweet Pea. I don't know who that is. It's so funny when we create these names. I interviewed someone at work, and their email that they gave was like it was something just super unprofessional. It was funny. I'm like, you need to create a regular name. But anyway, we have to figure that out. If we do that and we reserve it, we'll have to figure that out. I haven't had a chance to get into the software with the cards. I don't know. What I'm hopeful is there's a way to kind of deactivate if the pool's rented on Wednesday from 12 to 4, I'm hoping I can just deactivate everybody's cards from maybe 11 to 4:30, and they just turn on by themselves automatically. But we have to figure that out. We'll figure out the nuts and bolts if we decide to go over or to go forward with the project. What I need from you guys as homeowners of Lexington Hills is let me know what you think. Do you think it's a good idea? Bad idea? Things like that. Jessica, we've kicked around the idea of fundraisers. I think they'd be awesome. I think that the issue now is that, everybody has their own opinions, but we're still in a pandemic, and anytime you deal with food, things like that, it's a little bit of a questionable area. But we're definitely thinking about anything we can do to get our revenue up, because we obviously want to get to a better place where we're at, so we can take on what's our next project going to be. We got a lot of land available that we can do something with, but it is not going to be cheap. So we want to get there. One other big, and this isn't really a revenue opportunity, but it's a cost saving opportunity, and I want to talk to everybody about. So we're really considering refinancing the mortgage on the pool house, the clubhouse, and the pool. As I've gotten, to understand what went on. Because my first question to Melvin was like, well, Melvin, why we take a 10-year loan, man? Why we didn't do at least a 15, get that payment down a little bit? And I found out we didn't have a choice. When Melvin came on board and wanted to tackle this project, first thing is, even though we're a nonprofit business, we still have credit scores. We had no credit as far as Lexington Hills HOA was concerned. They would only, the maximum mortgage they would do is 10 years. So we didn't even have the option initially. We didn't even have and I see some of y'all questions. I'll stop in just a second. We didn't have the option initially of doing a longer mortgage. So right now, and don't hold me to this, but I think we're 3 years and change into a 10-year mortgage. Now that comes with good and bad. A lot of us work in finance, and we know if you amortize that, we are really getting ready to attack the principal balance with every payment that's made. But if we refi back out to a 10-year loan, maybe even a 15-year loan, it would drop that mortgage payment that we talked about of almost $2,000. We probably could save hundreds off that just by refinancing that the mortgage. So I want to stop and address something I am big on. And I see it from y'all comments. We have people that work in landscaping. We got notaries. We got people that own all kind of businesses. Some of us work in insurance. We need, as a neighborhood, we need to be able to take advantage of anything anybody that is willing to help brings to the table. Like Miss Foster said, hey, if we need food handling car, I saw her and someone else say we can get that training set up. So we need to take advantage of anything we can do that doesn't cost us money, but it can help improve our neighborhood. So as you guys are saying, anything like that can help us. And all we do is throw sweat equity in, because at the end of the day, if we volunteer and do it, it's just sweat equity, but it's going to pay off and have our neighborhood better. We definitely need to take advantage of that. I saw Miss Crawford's question: will the rental for the pool be the same price? Again, we're just in the kind of initial stages of the figuring it out. We're probably honestly going to charge renters a little bit more because they come with a little bit more liability. So we'll probably charge rentals a little bit more. But I personally think $500 is a nice round figure. Someone, Miss Arnold, Miss Love alluded to it, but Melvin, I think, really wanted to, but he felt apprehensive about it, which is open up rentals to people outside the neighborhood. Now, I'm nervous about that. I'm going to be honest, because we all have some skin in the game, if you will. We all have something to lose if something bad happens at the pool. What happens when we bring in these outside people that do not stay in Lexington Hills as a homeowner or renter? Are they going to take care of, because this is ours. This isn't mine. This isn't Miss Arnold's. This isn't Mr. Hudson. This is our stuff. This is our property. Are they going to take care of Lexington Hills like we would? And I'm just going to be honest, we've had homeowners not do a good enough job of taking care of our stuff. We had homeowners leave this building a little bit too dirty. So my gut is, if we do it, we start internal Lexington Hills only. We see how it goes, and then we can talk about it later down the road on if we want to open it up to outsiders. And outsiders would definitely have to have a big time deposit put down that would be refundable after the party's over and we've inspected it, making sure there's no holes in the walls, no glass in the pool, things like that. So I think if we do it, we kick as far as outsiders, we kick that down a little bit and go from there. Miss Foster, you beat me to the punch. The other part we would have to consider, and I would have to get with our insurance company, is what additional liability do we open ourselves up to if we allow others to rent? Because Jessica, I'm gonna be honest, I'm leaning towards it just ain't worth it. If we get 8 rentals a year from the neighborhood and we make 4,000, that is plenty. We're not trying to get rich as an HOA, if you will. We're just trying to make sure we don't become insolvent. And I see, I'll get to the email in just a moment. So we'll have to figure that out. Melvin has used his example, but I read about it a little bit myself. I just want to say it again because I know we have lots of new homeowners, lots of new renters. There is an HOA in Missouri. They had a playground. They had all the signs up saying, hey, nobody can get on it, but they didn't have the area secure. Little kid got on it somehow. The equipment broke down, popped him in the back of the head, and he had brain damage. Brain damage. Their insurance policy was up to 10 million. I think ours is. They thought they wouldn't have any liability because it wasn't secured. They were fully liable, and they got sued for 31 million. And I think every homeowner got an assessment of $80,000, $90,000, and it obviously forced lots of people into bankruptcy. I don't know how that will work, but I'm pretty sure nobody's buying your house with extra debt on it. So that is something we definitely need to consider when it comes to if we use or allow outsiders. I'm leaning towards no, because you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. So what I mean by that is, okay, yeah, maybe it's a great idea for a neighborhood only, but maybe it's just too much liability to allow other people in. So those are just some things we've discussed, and the opportunities we have to increase revenue. Want to kind of um switch it up a little bit and talk about the ramp project. I think everybody is aware the city is going to build a ramp that's going to let off around Casita Road, and it's going to be a lot of construction for a while. To my understanding, they've already bought that church, and they're building a new one on Far Road, kind of closer to that daycare. And to my understanding, they've also bought that Chevron gas station. And I think it's not a matter of if that gas station will close, it's just a matter of when. So I can tell from the Facebook page, and some of it gets into politics, which are not appropriate for us to discuss. Everybody is free to have their own views. What I will tell you is that my opinion is that gas station is a nuisance. And we are, as an HOA board, we are investigating anything we can find, whether it's a nuisance ordinance in Columbus or anything, to get that thing shut down quicker. I am not naive. I do not think that because that gas station goes away, crime is going to magically stop. But I also think if I walk through a warehouse with a huge magnet on myself, by the time I walk out, I'm going to have a bunch of nails and screws attracted to me. And that's what I feel like that gas station is. It is a magnet for bad stuff. They do not enforce ordinances as far as people loitering. People loiter all times of the day. And everybody that comes to that gas station does not stay right around here. People come far and wide to hang out and chill at that gas station. I've had to tell my wife to never go to that gas station because you can hardly get out your car and make it in the door if you can't pay it at the pump. And half the time their pay at pumps don't work. You can't hardly get to the door without somebody, asking you for money and things like that. And there's risk involved in that. You don't want to be going in your wallet or your purse and somebody robs you or something like that. So not trying to get political, but I can tell you that as a board, we've made the decision to do what we can to try to speed that process up. Might not come to anything, but this is an election here, and Councilman Huff is up for re-election. Mayor Henderson is up for re-election. So just some things to think about. But I guess end game is that gas station is going to go sooner or later anyway. So just be really nervous when I saw that someone was riding by and a bullet went in their car. So just be vigilant. Use that gas station, at your own risk, but just be careful. But I think that RAM project is going to be good. I think everybody feels it's going to increase our home value. So, and I think with the gas station, sooner or later it's going to be gone. And I get it. There's a mini mart behind it. It seems like they pop up these stores every week. I see a new store selling gas, lotto, and tobacco. It seems like every week I see a new one. So, but that RAM project I think will start later in the year and we'll go forward from there. So, and I'm kind of just hitting on some smaller things now as we near the end. Next, I want to talk about the Facebook page. I'm sure everybody has realized we turned post approval on. My opinion is post approval should have been on that Facebook page. And that was one of the first things we decided to do when the new administration took over, was turn post approval on. We are not doing that to run from tough posts. We had a gentleman a few weeks ago ask about the pool. He said it in a nice way, but he said, man, pool's ugly. Who's responsible? What are we doing from it? We approved this post in seconds. We are not trying to run from tough questions, But what we are trying to do is do what we can so we make sure that everything on there is appropriate. I'm gonna tell you a story Melvin told me. We had an apartment, so we were building the pool, and we know we have lots of homeowners and residents with small children, and everybody, lots of us hate that the playground equipment went away. So we had an apartment complex that was getting rid of theirs. It was in good shape, and they were going to just give it to us. And we had an outside nonprofit company willing to grant us the money to move it and have it installed, but they were apprehensive about doing business with the homeowners association. So they said, "Hey, Melvin, can we join the Facebook page for a few weeks? We just want to get a vibe on things and see how things go." Joined the page, they didn't like what they saw, and we never got that grant. So one of the reasons we don't have that playground equipment right now, in my opinion, was probably because drama and inappropriate stuff on the Facebook page. That's not a problem with post approval, because if your post is inappropriate, it's never going to go up, and we will tell you why we don't. We didn't post it. We've updated the rules. If you haven't had a chance to look at the new rules, please do so. And again, 99% of the posts are super appropriate. We are not trying to suppress your speech, but I think all of us know that, to me, that Facebook is like this pool house I'm sitting in right now. It's a shared space. You've got to conduct yourself appropriately. We've got to be professional and nice. And we as HOA board, because at times we haven't always done that, we've got to be professional and courteous in our communication. So I'm not acting like we didn't have room to improve as well. We have room to improve. I'm going to bet you, though, that moving forward, you will not see a single inappropriate post or response from anybody on the Lexington Hill HOA board. I bet you won't, because it is super important that we hold ourselves accountable and we communicate appropriately with you guys. We all got to have respect for one another. And while I agree with Miss Love, there'll always be drama on social media. Post approvals helps us to minimize it. So, and again, I don't think a good discussion or a debate is drama. Sometimes you're not going to agree, and that's fine. So, but it's a difference between disagreeing and debating or drama. We've had posts that seem like they were there to stir the pot with no real point. And so I just want to tell that story because we have young moms and dads with little kids. I have grandkids that would love playground equipment, and one of the reasons we don't have it right now is because the Facebook page. So that's why we turned post approval on. It is not going away. It's going to be like that indefinitely, as long as the current board is I don't want to say in power, but you guys know what I mean. As long as we're in place, it's going to be like that indefinitely. I see your question, Miss Nelson. I'll get to it in just a second. And matter of fact, next, I agree. So next thing I want to talk about is the pool. So I'll go ahead, Miss Johnson's question. Last year we opened around April 1st. We'll see. We may target when Muskogee County goes on spring break. We'll see. A lot of it is joined together, and I'll get to the repairs in here in just a moment. But we're going to try to get it open when it makes sense. One decision we made, and I hope it's right. I hope it's right. So I'll go back to Jessica's question. Jessica is good. Why not just delete the post? There could be time sensitive info due to delay in post approval. So I ask you guys, other than maybe once, I don't think you guys have waited on average more than 10 minutes to get your post approved. I would say the average wait time is probably like 5 minutes or less. So it's a valid point, Jessica, but I think post approval is on. Keith, you were blocked before we took over. That's something we're going to figure that out. That was obviously done with the previous administration. We took over on February the 1st. But yeah, the page isn't always manned. I just think, I'm in Facebook groups for everything. Almost all of them have post approval on. So Miss Love, I'm gonna get to that in just a second, because I think that's a great idea. Again, I don't run from tough questions. I think Like I said, Keith, you were removed from the page. I'm gonna have to figure out why, and we'll make a decision as far as you being approved to be back on the page. But that was done by the previous administration. Um, One decision I've made, and I hope it's the right decision, is we've decided to remove any current pool suspension once it opens. And I realize some of the suspensions probably went in maybe July or August, and you would still have time because those suspensions were for a year. We are going to give everyone the benefit of the doubt and remove those suspensions. But I want to talk a second about accountability. Obviously, if we move forward and you have an issue, you're going to be suspended 12 months. And that is not to say the minute you have an issue, if one of our kids acts up and you handle it appropriately, that's fine. That don't mean you're going to result in a suspension. But it's some things I'm going to have zero tolerance for. First one is we had this happen last year. People dropping underage kids off at the pool without their household having an adult present. That is completely unacceptable. And I want to make sure there is no gray area. That is completely unacceptable. No one wants to wake up and we have had some kind of tragic accident in Lexington Hills because someone was being irresponsible. You cannot drop underage children off at the pool without supervision. If that happens, and we can clearly see it on cameras, you're getting suspended a year automatically, no questions asked, because you are opening up the entire neighborhood to liability. Second thing, like we talked about with that example in Missouri, we have a fence. Well, that fence helps it. Well, if you jump the gate and hurt yourself, that's on you. But guess what? If you let people in, we open ourselves up to liability as well. Do not let people in the pool. Obviously, if a mama's coming with a kid in her hand, we will open it, and we need to make sure they have that their car. But in general, don't let people into the pool. That automatically opens us up into a liability. An issue we had last year that I got zero tolerance for is anybody willfully vandalizing our property. And this ain't my property. This isn't Miss Love's. This isn't Vienna's. This is our property. If for any reason somebody gets PO'd and you choose to vandalize anything in here, you're going to be suspended. I'm going to do what I can to pursue criminal charges, and we are going to sue you to get those monies back. And we'll pop a lien on your house really fast. And I am not joking. So I want to make sure everybody understands how serious I am with that. We got a pool pump that costs thousands. We can't secure it. We cannot deal with any kind of willful vandalism from anyone. So I want to make sure I'm 100%. Everybody's 100% clear on that. We can't deal with that. Got to hold our kids accountable. My wife and I, we have a blended family. We got kids of all ages. I have some kids that I would trust to go to that pool that are over 18 and think they do just right. And I have some other ones that I wouldn't want walking down the street without me tagging behind them. So what we're asking from you as a homeowner or a renter is to be honest and be honest with you as far as your children. We all know our kids. If you got an 18-year-old that you don't feel like is mature enough to go down there, be respectful, not fight and curse and things like that, don't let them. Even though they meet the age requirement, don't let them. Make sure your kids are aware of the consequences of their actions if they break the rules. They can have the entire family be suspended from pool because they get down there and don't know how to act. We're going to do our best to make sure that if we have dealings with anybody, that we're respectful in how we deal with each other and with children. But remember, we shouldn't really be correcting anyone else's children. That is up to their parents or guardians to do so. So if we have an issue, we do expect you to the best of your ability to, handle things yourself. Or if you realize that they're just not going to do right, don't let them go to the pool. So please be realistic. We all know our kids. And so there's going to be a lot of kids at the pool, horse playing, things like that are going to happen, but it's some things we can prevent. Uh, so I'll get right into the age limit in just a moment. Pool maintenance is really expensive. We have a system that minimizes the chemicals that we need, but we still need them. Um, Take a quick shower. It's not the end of the world. You ain't gonna rinse everything off. We don't want you soaping up, but any body oils, things like that, that can get rinsed off and they don't get in the pool. That helps us. Really helps us keep it clean. I don't know how to say this, but please be conscientious of your hair, no matter how you wear your hair. But we really need to minimize hair pieces, braids, wigs finding their way into the pool pump system because it restricts water flow. So just minimize that as much as you can. And one of the biggest things is no glass. We could have to drain a pool entirely because you can't see glass in a pool. So really remember, no, I know, glass bottles, no glass bottles whatsoever. And if we do open up to do pool rentals, you got to remember, if you throw a party, you don't need to use glass products in the pool house because it's going to be way easier to take those out to the pool. I'm big on balance, and sometimes I don't do enough in my personal life to keep the balance where it needs to be. But I feel like we have to have balance because one feedback I continually saw is the pool ain't the biggest. We're just gonna be real. It's okay. It's not the biggest. Sometimes I wish we could have doubled it in size. We didn't, so it's not the biggest. And it's always kids in the pool, which is fine. These kids are our kids. They're here to enjoy it, make memories and things like that. But there should be a time when adults can enjoy the pool without kids being present. So what I think we're going to do is from 7 to 10 every evening, no kids. No one under the age of 25 will be allowed unless you happen to be a homeowner or a renter that is, or their spouses that's under 25. So I know we have some young homeowners. You're fine. But what we're trying to do is not just children, but young adults too. Have a time where a homeowner, their spouse can go to the pool. Same thing with a renter and their spouse. Generally 7 to 10 are hours that probably not going to have a lot of kids there anyway. So we're trying to make it 7 to 10, 25 and older, unless you're the homeowner and their spouse, or the renter and their spouse. But I'm open to what you guys think about that idea. I think it's good. I think it's needs some time. Sometimes if you want to go down there and enjoy the pool and nobody's doing cannonballs next to you. So I think it's a pretty good idea. Um, Just same as last year, you have to be 18 or older to come to the pool doing normal hours. If you're 18, if I have an 18-year-old, they can bring their underage household members with them to the pool, but you have to be 18. Originally, we started off at 16, but we went to 18, I want to say during last pool season. So it is 18. You have to be 18 to come to the pool. If your kid comes to the pool underage, that's going to be an automatic suspension because again, that's just another way we can be opened up to liability. So something Melvin mentioned, I don't know if you guys remember, we had a special meeting about the pool, but he mentioned having a pool attendant. And but he said we're gonna have to look at our numbers and our budget and where we are. And I can tell you guys, we don't have the budget for a pool attendant whatsoever. Um, No, 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 we don't have the budget for it. And Miss Love, we haven't determined the hours. I think it's probably gonna be something like 10 to 10, but we'll let everybody know as we get closer to opening the pool. So I know a lot of us were hoping we could have that pool attendant, but we just don't have the funds for it right now. I'm hoping that maybe next year, if some of these ideas make sense and they work out, maybe we can have an attendant next year. But we may come up with maybe not all days, but maybe busy days to have some volunteers here. I don't mind volunteering my hours. Again, it's so much power in our own sweat equity. We can volunteer and help our neighborhood so much. And I like what Mr. Goldborn says. He made it a point to go late at night because the kids, um, kids aren't there. So we're gonna make it a rule, if you will. After 7 is grown up time. You can come to the pool and kind of chill out and enjoy yourself. So, but more information will be coming on when the pool will open and hours. We'll make sure we post the rules and email them for everybody to see. So it'll be, won't be any gray areas or questions with the pools. We'll make sure we do so. Um, so again, really bummed a little bit about the pool attendant. I have went, we sat down. We just don't have the money for it. Just no other way to put it. If we have any kind of pool attendant, if we want to do a little bit better at having someone here during busy hours, it's going to be on a volunteer basis. Um, so next, I want to talk a little bit about some projects that we want to get accomplished during 2022. Doesn't mean we will, but some of them we want to get accomplished. One of the ones, one thing I want to do, I feel like our roundabouts are ugly. And it doesn't seem like to me, other than spending a few $100 on plants and stuff, if we can come together as a neighborhood with sweat equity and get the labor taken care of, don't seem like it'll cost much to beautify our roundabouts a little bit. I can tell from riding around the neighborhood, we got lots of people with green thumbs. Lawn looks great, nice flowers. Um, one project I'd like to take on is, plan some arrangements, get both roundabouts looking a little bit better. But if we yeah, Mr. Ransom, you're gonna have to watch the replay because we went over the budget first. But you'll be able to watch the replay. We went over in pretty good detail. Um, so one of the projects I'd like to take on is the roundabouts, but again, that would happen with sweat equity. I'll definitely be out there, but we're gonna ask anybody that wants to help, knows about arrangements, knows about gardening, help us. Help. We can get out there on a Saturday and probably knock one out. Maybe do the same the next weekend, have those looking a little bit better. Um, Another project that I think we're going to try to tackle relatively quickly is a separate gate so we can have access to the lake that's separate from the pool. Because right now, I think if the pool is closed, you can't get to the lake, and that's a bummer. And it was funny. As soon as it hit 80 degrees, I saw questions in the Facebook page about lake access because some of us love going down there, love fishing. I need somebody to teach me how to fish. I've never been fishing in my life, but I have always wanted to go. But we're going to try to add on a separate gate. So if you're facing the pool from the street, we're going to try to add on a separate gate on the left. So we're going to have to run a little bit of electricity, try to make it where it's the same car system, where when you go in, the gate will be to your right that separates the pool from the grassy area, and you'll be able to access that and go to the lake. Because there's going to be times, for whatever reason, the pool's going to be closed at least one day a week for maintenance and stuff, but you'll still be able to get to the lake when you need to. So that's a small project, probably not going to cost us a ton, that we want to tackle relatively quickly. Another one, and this is going to be towards the end of the year, but we need a pool cover. Sunlight gets rid of chlorine, and so what happens is if you don't have a pool cover, you have to steady spend time and maintenance on the pool in the winter, or it gets ugly. With a pool cover, you can winterize the pool, put the cover on, and that pool is going to be crystal clear until it warms up again. So we probably won't spend what it takes to get an automatic pool cover, because that's probably going to be more than what we want to spend. But we'll probably get some kind of manual pool cover in the fall. Again, we are fine legally. I checked on it. With the fence, we are not required to have a pool cover, but I think it's going to be something that once we get it, it's actually going to save us money in the long run, because again, these pool chemicals are really expensive, and that'll help us out. So that's just kind of a few projects. Welcome to any ideas you guys have. I think the first thing I'd like to tackle is these roundabouts. That it just makes our community look good. We can look at the signs too, but that's not a lot, just to make our community look better and just be more aesthetically pleasing. I don't think there's anything wrong when wanting your home, your neighborhood to look good. All right. Next thing I want to talk about, which we generally do a great job of, don't be afraid to advertise your business on the Facebook page. Now, don't go crazy. I don't want to see anybody saying, hey, drop me your Cash App and you can get $5,000 in the next 2 hours. Like, obviously, we don't want no crap like that. But we have people that have inflatable businesses, notaries. We have people that will set up your own date night and picnic. We have people that do lawn care. We have handyman. We have everything under the sun. And it's a win-win, because if I can go to Miss Gates' house and get a paper notarized, that's easier for me, and she can make money as well. So don't be afraid to advertise your business. It's kind of a win-win. Just don't go overboard with it. And I think everybody knows what going overboard is. Um, Pool house construction. So this has been a little bit of a challenge. First thing is it happened right when we were changing administration. So first, insurance company just tried to cut us a check that was nowhere near what we needed. And so we had to get a couple different estimates, and we were able to get an estimate approved that was okay. And so the repair started this week. They've dropped off the new cabinet. So I'm hoping to have everything done by this time next week. Could take a little bit longer. It's going to depend on how long it takes the new granite counters to come in. Just to some transparency, when ServPro was removing the lower cabinets that were damaged by the water, they cracked the granite. I don't think it was going. It's almost impossible to remove that much granite without cracking it. So we're hoping to get repaired. I know we've had questions about rentals. I'm hoping to be okay on rentals mid-March moving forward, but we're working to get that done. And that's going to be another expense we absorb. We have a $2,500 deductible, and we're going to have to pay a chunk of that, obviously directly to the contractor, to get the work done. We got multiple bids. Just to be transparent, one of the troubles we ran into is to try to save money. We needed, somebody to come do the counters, then a separate company to come do the granite, then a separate company to rewire the 220 outlet, then a second company for plumbing. And we were just having trouble getting individual contractors coming. And then there's a little bit lack of accountability if we kind of farm everything out to subcontractors. So we went with a contractor that's reputable and that can handle everything on their own. So they actually got started with those repairs this week. So next topic, I'm sure some of our favorite thing is architectural control. Michelle's still going to help us with that. We'll start that soon. Please remember, the only pre-approved project is a driveway expansion. That's pretty standard. Anything else, take a second and get a variance. We don't want any friction. We don't want you having to change something because you did it and it doesn't meet what we have specified as far as Lexington Hills is concerned. We don't want you to paint your house pink and that's not acceptable and you've wasted thousands of dollars. So submit a variance. We try to get to those pretty quickly on just any major projects you're doing. Obviously your backyard is kind of you, but if it's going to stick up, if whatever you're doing is going to stick up above your fence, if you have one, or if you don't have a fence, we can please submit those variants. It's just easier on us, easier on you. We all chose to move in the neighborhood with an HOA, so there are some obligations that come with having a homeowners association in your neighborhood. Next, architectural control. No parking on your grass. No parking on your grass. I can understand 5 or 10 minutes if you're unloading some fence panels, something like that, but no park. And it's just a bad idea. If it's wet and mushy, the minute you try to pull off, you're gonna have ruts in your yard. So you don't want to park on your grass in general. And just my opinion, now is a great time to get started on your yard. And the best way to get your yard looking good is preventing weeds and fertilizing your grass. So it's a little early for fertilization, but just want to make sure everybody knows we don't have the best soil back here. And if you feel that all you need to do is cut your grass, you're soon going to be cutting dirt and weeds. A few bucks can go a long way. There's weed killers you can put on the end of your hose, $5. You can get bags of fertilizer, $10. I'm sure there's plenty of people in the neighborhood. Willie is great about lawn care. And I hope I'm not, I think Mr. Ransom does lawn care. So if you want to, hey, can you buy this product and put it out in my yard? I'm sure we can find someone to do it for a minimal cost. So a little can go a long way in terms of keeping your yard looking good. We'd love everybody to have fantastic yards, but we all want to keep our home values up. And there's a certain standard that, especially a front yard, just can't go below. So we'll be more than happy to work with you and trying to get your situation with your yard squared away. If you do pop up on architectural control, it could be a number of reasons: lack of grass, you can't have a lot of dirt. If you do, we got to come up with some kind of plan to a remedy. And remember, we're more worried about your front yard than the backyard. Many of us have fences, but it's your front yard or what we can see from the street that that really matters. Last year we actually, and I'm not even gonna get into details, but Greyhawk caused a bunch of water to run on our yards on our street, and it kind of just drowned my backyard. So we just ended up resodding it ourselves. But what I'll tell you is that sod wasn't expensive as I thought. It was nowhere near as expensive as what I thought. And the particular supplier we use, I'm sure they would be willing to work with us if we said, hey, well, we just drop it all on, Legion, and maybe us as a neighborhood, we Miss Arnold wants a pallet, Mr. Ransom wants two, somebody else wants a half, and maybe we can save ourselves money and go in and buy it ourselves. So for me, siding was just the simplest thing. Now my backyard looks great, but remember, it is your responsibility to keep your home looking presentable. That's what keeps all our home values up. So you have to do something to maintain. And again, I'm going to say this again: if all you're doing is cutting your grass, you're going to be at dirt sooner or later. You've got to fertilize your grass. Last year was a great year because we got so much rain. You didn't really have to water your yard yourself. So, but obviously it's just about springtime. We'll start architectural control. Miss Arnold's, we have multiple. I know Willie, for some reason, Willie's last name is Willie Holmes. He does a lot of lawn care for people. I've done lawn care for people in the neighborhood before. So, I'm sure someone will be able to help you. So just want to talk about architectural control, and kind of just wanted to end on let's be kind to each other. Get to know your neighbor. Some of us are really private, but when I look to my left and right and across the street, I'm probably gonna stay next to these people for a really long time. And my neighbors are absolutely fantastic. They watch my home. If we're out of town, we do the same for them. I've borrowed Brandon Sweetman's ladder so often. He probably like, God dang, Jay, I might as well just give you my ladder and buy me a new one because I always have it. But anyway, get to know each other a little bit. Your neighbors are oftentimes a really good resource to help you watch your home, things like that. And that's another thing I was thinking, Miss Love, is to have a springtime a Lexington Hills yard sale again. I know we've done that in the past, and participation got kind of low, so we stopped. But if we do it, yeah, obviously, if you don't have the stuff to get rid of, don't. But we need people to participate. What we can't have is we set up to do these roundabouts and two of us show up, or we want to do a yard sale and one house is selling stuff. We need people to participate to help um, our neighborhood be what it needs to be. And let's be kind. We've had some issues, and I just got low tolerance for kids trick or treating, knocking on your door, and then these encounters, I'll say, that shouldn't have even happen, go really bad. Let's be kind, especially to the little children. I know some of the teens can get unruly and curse, but the little kids, let's not have issues because somebody's waiting on the bus at the corner, or because they knocked on your house. So I love Halloween. We scare the crap out of the kids at our house. So let's be kind, especially to the children. We have kids, grandkids in the neighborhood. You don't want their memory to be something bad about that. So I just want us all to be kind, do what we can to help each other. Again, you're more than welcome to be private, but odds are you probably got a homeowner to the left or right of you, or a renter, and they're probably not going anywhere anytime soon. So it's going to benefit you to get to know your neighbors and just have at least somewhat of a relationship with them. So um to wrap things up, we're here to be, partners with everyone, and not in your neighborhood, but in our neighborhood. And that's one of the biggest reasons I decided to run, because I just felt like that ownership wouldn't be there if our HOA was handled by a third party. And I love what Ms. Crawford said. It just costs a little effort to be kind. It don't cost a dime. So but I think things can be infectious. We will always handle ourselves appropriately. We will not say mean, nasty, condescending things on social media or anything like that. Moving forward, we'll try to make sure we handle ourselves professionally, but we're going to ask you to do the same, and do to your best of your ability. Make sure that the people in your household do the same as well. So I know it was a lot. Definitely want to pause. I tried to get to as many questions as I could, but I'm sure I missed some. So Any questions or concerns you guys have, let me know. I know I'm gonna make a Facebook post about the roundabouts because I want to go ahead and get that started. It's springtime. It's so many nice looking plants. I love plants. So many nice looking plants at Lowe's and Home Depot and stuff now. So what questions or concerns do you guys have for us? More than welcome to answer anything you guys have right now. Again, and I think we've done a good job of it in the past, but we're going to pride ourselves on being transparent, keeping everyone informed, doing the best we can for the neighborhood. So, what questions, concerns, comments do you guys have for me? So, I'll feel people respond about the pool rental. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a way to get us some more money. We need more money. We need money. And then I can just tell you, whatever our next project is on Sand Hill, it is trees everywhere. So it is going to be pricey. So revenue is our best friend. All right. So Ms. Love, so we don't have a company collecting HOA fees. That was all Melvin. We use PayPal for electronic payments, but there's no third party company doing collections for us. It is all your Lexington Hills board. It is purely the board. So we're not losing a percentage because some company is handling that. We are doing that ourselves, and we'll continue to do it ourselves. But good idea, because anything we can do ourselves and not pay someone else to do is going to save some money. So any other questions, comments, or concerns for me? Next time we're gonna probably use a different software. I want Amanda and Tasha be able to talk, and you guys too. But I figured if we went with Zoom, if we have a little bit of trouble, everybody knows how to jump on YouTube. Ms. Love, I'm not sure what you're asking. If you're asking about HOA fees, that mailbox is secure. You're more than welcome to slide a check or money order into there. Just make sure we know who it's from. You can slide into the mailbox. We check that a few times per week. I think we had the Quins were leaving, and they need to drop their keys off. So if you're moving, you can drop your keys off in an envelope. Just make sure we know what's going on, or I'm sorry, who they're from. Yeah, and Miss Hudson, I agree. I think once we get the pool house, I know we saw some fundraisers, barbecues. Halloween's a fun time, so we'll see what we can do to kind of meet and greet, because you're never gonna know everybody, but I think for those of us that want to participate, things like that'll be good. And even though we're in a pandemic, the pool is great because it's outside and we have a pretty big grassy area too. So we'll see um, what we can do for things like that. So what else do you guys have for me? Any other questions or concerns you guys have? I know we went over a lot. Any budget questions, and I want to ask you guys, did going over the budget and our kind of money situation provide you with more transparency than you had in the past? Because that definitely was our goal. All right. Well, if you guys don't have anything else, I'll let you guys go. I'll stay in the stream for a few moments just to see if anyone has any questions. Keep an eye on the Facebook page. Like I said, we'll probably try to tackle that roundabout in the near future. So we'll be looking for volunteers, and we'll come up with what we're going to do from there. Miss Love, so talking with Melvin, I don't know the particulars, but I don't think the city is gonna let us install speed bump speed tables. We obviously have a problem with speeding because all our houses are on a slope. They speed down all the streets. And you can be on Legion, Magazine, Sand Hill, and Tatum. It doesn't matter. People speed down the streets. We're gonna look into what we can do. Maybe the same answer. as before, but it can't hurt to try. You get a no to any question you don't ask. But I know speeding has been a big time concern for the neighborhood on all the streets. But definitely a valid concern, and I remember seeing that when I forgot about it. But we have speeding on all the streets. I don't get why people want to go down a residential street and hit the gas. Just get on the interstate. And thank you. Yeah, we're here. Like I said, we're on a volunteer basis. But we're gonna try to do the best we can, and keep moving forward year after year. My hope, and I don't know how long I'll be in this position. You guys got to elect who you want, but I think my hope is that maybe by 2023 or sometime we are ready to tackle what the next project is going to be. So no need of concerning ourselves with what the next project is right now, but I'm hoping that we move to a place where fiscally we can start considering what our next major Lexington Hills project is going to be, maybe mid, third, fourth quarter 2023. I think that's a great idea, Miss Hurd. We play Kahoot sometimes at home, so that stuff is fun. So I think we got a lot of opportunity to increase the sense of community and just make Lexington Hills even better than what it is. I know Melvin used to say we're a gem among a bunch of coal. There are HOAs all around that are not as functional as we are, and one of the biggest things is because if you don't have any skin in the game, it's really hard to care as much as you need to. Mr. Hudson, I do not know. Melvin had a little bit more information. I'll talk to him because I know he works with the city. Um, my guess is we probably see less traffic in Lexington Hills because I don't know. So why do people get off and come here? Will it be more convenient to get off on the exit? Some of that we'll have to find out, Mr. Hudson. My gut is it probably won't increase. It may stay the same or decrease a bit, but I'm not sure. That's just a guess. It's just an educated guess. Yeah, and maybe we can turn some of the evening pool time hours into something fun for grown-ups, so I'm sure we can come up with something. So, uh I think the main thing is come up with ideas, and we'll see if we can get started. So we are not trying to get off with the new um administration at a snail's pace. We're trying to hit the ground running and keep things up. Miss Love, I'm not sure if you're talking about the around the pool house, around the neighborhood, but I'll check on that. I'll check on that. We're still learning some things. It has not been easy. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes, even from just when a home sells to make sure we get our money and things like that. So we're still kind of in a transition and a learning phase, but we'll get everything squared away. All right. So what else do you guys have? I would, Mr. Ransom, but I'm kind of long-winded. But we kind of went over the budget, revenue opportunities, and then just some odds and ends. But you'll be able to watch the replay, Mr. Ransom. And if you have any questions, you can definitely let us know. I'm sure not too long after the live ends, you can go back in and watch it. But we went over kind of our income we get on the average year, and then what we're spending out, and how our budget is kind of tight, and then other opportunities we have to increase our revenue. So anything else? All right. Well, I know one thing. We don't plan to just have one meeting every year. We may do them quarterly or as needed, but just to kind of update things and keep everybody in the loop with what's going on. But wanted to have this meeting. Just like every year, we'll send the tax return out shortly. The 2021 recap has been sent out. The 2022 budget has been sent out. So we'll keep. Yeah, I agree. If you have a landscaping be a business, don't post it in the Facebook group. Post it in the Facebook group. There's people dying for lawn care. and sell your services. People, people need to fertilize their grass. I put a post in there about a pre-emergent that helps prevent weeds, lots of stuff. So that's what I was talking about. If you have a business, it's nothing wrong with advertising your business from time to time. I'm gonna advertise mine from time to time. I'll do a shameless plug right now. We're getting ready to get started again. If you need a bounce house or a water slide or anything like that, you can let us know. We always give a discount to residents of Lexington Hills. Um, Miss Georgette, I don't think it'd be a bad idea. Honestly, if you read through our bylaws and things like that, we have committees for a lot of different stuff. So I can tell you, as a three-person board, we can't handle everything. So it probably would be a fantastic idea to come up with a committee who can handle kind of activities and things like that. But as we're at the bare minimum a board can be based on our bylaws, which is three people. So, but a committee for different things would be a fantastic idea. I think that's great. I think it's a great idea. All right. So, do you guys have anything else? I didn't put an end time because my gut was it was going to take longer. I don't want to say an hour. I don't want to hold you guys too long, but definitely hear any questions or concerns you guys have. And I know a lot of you are taking off. So again, it was nice meeting with you guys, and we'll uh we'll move forward. And I'll hang on for a few more minutes just in case you guys have any other questions. And if not, you guys take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hey, Miss Love, we have a kind of an inflatable rental business like bounce houses, water slides, the combo units where you can bounce in and slide. So we do inflatable and party rentals. Yep, I see you, Mr. Ransom. We'll definitely get that together because we definitely gonna need some help. It ain't but so much three of us can do. So the more the merrier. All right, you guys. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Obviously, if you guys need something, you can email the Facebook page. I'm sorry, the email address, or we have the Facebook page. So you guys take care. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my Saturday. So y'all take care. Have a good one.